and welcome back to Beyond the School Gate. For those of you who are new around here, my name is Ruth, and I started this podcast to amplify the voices of women in leadership, to talk about what we do beyond the school gate, the good, the bad, and the funny. And today I have a very special guest. Introduce yourself.
My name's Ahmed. I am the husband.
Yay! Round of applause for Ahmed. I've roped him into a couple of episodes. It's called the Husband Series. And we're just going to talk through a couple of the topics that have been sent in on Instagram. So if you want to have a topic discussed either with myself and Ahmed, on my own, or with another guest, then please comment on Instagram. It's over there on BTSG. So you'll find me. Join the conversation. We're trying to start a little bit of a community over here. So add your comments and your opinions on the topics that we talk about below to help us get that started. So without further ado, we're going to dive straight on in. And today's topic is burnout. Burnout is serious, isn't it?
It's a serious topic.
It is, isn't it?
Very, very serious.
I feel like I need to not be smiling.
You can't help but smile because it's one of those things that people don't realize is happening until it's too late.
Have you experienced burnout before?
Yeah. When I first started teaching, I put my all into it because I just wanted to be, not be the best, but I just wanted the best version of myself. And I had an amazing mentor. So I was always comparing myself to him and trying to be as good as he was, and make things as simple as, and that just spiraled out of control and ended up having heart palpitations.
Did you? That's when you were in Newham, isn't it?
That's when I was in Newham.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I knew it.
That's
wild.
Burnout is a real thing.
And it was pressure that you were putting on yourself, or others were putting on you?
A lot of it was me putting on myself.
Okay.
There was pressure in the job already, and it's like every job you have, there's pressures within it. It doesn't need you to then put additional pressure on yourself. I'm like that anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever I do, I put additional pressure on myself.
You're a typical first child.
I'm trying to be an expert where good is good enough.
Huh, wow, that's wild. And David, the body is wild. The fact that it gives you physical signs to tell you to slow down.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to pull yourself out of burnout then?
Well, most of the tips that I got was actually from you. I care from 9 to 5 factor. I care when I'm in my job.
Yeah.
And I'll run myself down to make sure that the clients get what they need. However, once I'm out of that area, I'm now with the family. They should get my time.
But I never had that boundary. But similarly to you, when I worked at St. John Ambulance, that's probably when I experienced burnout for the first time. And similarly, heart palpitations, and it just didn't feel nice.
No.
So when we moved to Australia, I think I always said, I'm not going to go back down that path. And I think it's so easy to go back down that path of working weekends, working evenings, working 12-hour days. But I saw physically what that did to my health and my mental health and my central nervous system.
Yeah.
That I was actually getting heart palpitations and feeling heightened all the time. I was like, I'm not going to do that to myself again. Like, nothing is worth risking your health. So now I think people often say, oh, you have a really good work-life balance, but I only have that because I felt what I felt through burnout.
And you don't realize, like I said, that you're going into it. You really like your job, and you feel like the more you put yourself into your job, the better outcomes the clients will get. So you feel like you're doing it for the clients as well. So, but it ends up being to your detriment.
Absolutely.
I understand as well. For some people, work is where they take they take comfort, and work is where, if things are happening outside that they can't control, work is where they can control some things, and that then leads them to overdo everything and take on all the stresses. Every failure is blown 5 times out of proportion. Every success is, well, that's what I'm supposed to do anyway. You know, you hold yourself in a higher regard than even the people who hired you would probably
expect.
Yeah, and so you elevate the standards. Nobody can actually achieve. That would lead you to just completely crash out at some point.
We do hard work. I work in the community services space. We do hard work and we support people that do hard work. You're a teacher, you're in an exec role where you support staff that are also engaging with children that have come from households that aren't easy and hard, and you see these behaviours demonstrated in school and all of these things. That we do human services work, but one of the things that I've seen that you always do, which I think allows you to then go back and do the hard work, is you play a sport, you have hobbies, you have interests, you have a family, you enjoy spending time with your family, you enjoy travelling and going on holiday and figuring out new things. The YouTube channel that you run, just started a brand new business. Those are the things that make you leave work. Is I want to see my family. I want, when I leave work, when I see it's 4:45, I'm like, oh, I'm going home soon. I get to see my husband. I get to see my son. All of those things make you stable like a tripod, that it allows you to go back to work and do all of that hard work. Does that make sense? It's not like, oh, it's home time. It's like I look forward to seeing you guys and hearing about your day, and I look forward to coming to film videos and edit the videos and do all of that stuff, or go to the gym. We have so much outside of the day job, and that's one of the things that I learned from you. I never had a hobby, I never had a lot of those things that I do now, but I saw how that stuff benefits you in so many different ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, and it wasn't anything that I planned. I just knew that playing football, for example, when I stepped on the pitch, everything disappeared. For that 90 minutes, all I'm thinking about is putting the ball in the back of the net, or helping my team put the ball in the back of the net. I didn't think about anything else. And since I could kick a ball, that's what that has always represented for me. Is that 90 minutes that my head is completely clear, and I've only got one thing in mind, and that's it. Whereas the rest of life, you're thinking about 5, 6, 7, 8 different things all at once, trying to juggle all those balls and keep them going.
It's hard.
It is very, very hard.
Do you find that that's what, when you come off the pitch, you often have better mental clarity to solve the problem that you could have sat at work 3 hours trying to figure out? I find that when I come from the gym, if I've had a tough day at work and I'm at the gym, then I'm on my way home and I'm like, oh, that's how you can do that. Because you haven't got all the other noise.
So it all stops, and then when I step off, that's when things come back in. But I can choose the things that come back in the head at that time, because it doesn't all just flood back in. It's like a build-up. So, but I can choose which one I start with, and whatever the issue was that I was trying to fix or solve or find a solution to, I will take that thing in first, and then it usually helps me to come up with a solution. But doesn't always work. But that 90 minutes is great, because I can just think about nothing but what's happening then.
I wonder if that's why they say mental health and physical health are so, health is health, right? Whether it's mental, physical, or whatever. But I wonder if that's why they say exercise is so important, and hobbies and all of those things are important, is because it's how your brain is connected and how it all links to each other.
That's why we made sure with our children as well, they played a sport, or no, they both do gymnastics. They played football for a bit. They tried a few sports. They've got a sport, musical instrument, and education.
Up till they're 18. They're non-negotiables. 3 non-negotiables for the kids: a sport, an instrument, and education till they're 18. And then after that, you can drop it, which is fine. But it's like a tripod. You're quite well rounded then. You take one away, you're going to wobble and fall over. Even him, like he goes to the gym, well he stopped now,
yeah.
He hasn't been for a while, but he used to go to the gym and say, oh, like, I'll meet you at the gym, I had a tough day at school today.
That's our son, Junaid.
Yeah, and he was like 13 at the time, and I'm like, I like that because you're thinking, I've had a tough day, let me go do exercise. He's already feeling the endorphins kind of help him out, which I think is a really good habit, as opposed to when he's an adult, I'm going to go home and have a bottle of wine.
Good to have 2 or 3 things, 3 things at least, that you can then put your time into thirds. Then that way you're not doing too much of one thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because burnout really is real. Like it really is, and I just think nobody. I know it's morbid, but nobody. I haven't met anybody. Let me not talk for the whole world. You know, don't know everybody yet. I haven't met anybody that told me a story of, oh yeah, when my grandma or grandpa was on their deathbed, what they asked for was to just do more hours at work. That was their only regret, was that they just didn't send one more email, write one more paper. That's not what people are out here kind of regretting, and I'm actually reading a book about that at the moment. And it's not what people are regretting, it's those human connections, it's the hobbies, it's the connection with your religion, or if you're not religious, connection with like the world or a being or something. Those are the things. It's always connection, like mind, body and spirit stuff. And I think that's really important, but morbid.
No, and I think just kind of tracking back slightly to having a tripod, things like that helps with your burnout. You know, because you have something else that you can channel your energy into, so you're not constantly thinking about work. And one of the other things that I've kind of made a decision about was I used to bring my laptop home all the time. So I'm constantly, I've just finished work, got my laptop, I'm back at work. So I don't actually stop working. And which means I don't get to do anything else, or I have very, very little time to do anything else.
During the week,
and then I would say, oh, you know, when's that episode going out? When's that YouTube video going out? Oh, I don't know when it's going out, but I know when the email will go out.
That's what I'm saying.
So all of that contributed to it. And even now that I've stopped bringing my laptop home, it means I have to be concise. That's the word. I have to be efficient with the things that I'm doing and make sure that I wrap up a lot of the things that need immediate attention. It's helped me to organize a lot. I mean, I'm no way some organized guru, but it's helped me to organize a lot. And also, like, I've been able to just put out reels, for example.
Look at all the stuff you've done, like the business you've just started.
So I've been able to do all of that.
You wouldn't have achieved any of that. I said we. I always talk like we're collective. You wouldn't have achieved.
We're French.
Any of that.
Yeah.
If you've been doing that stuff.
Yeah. So
the other thing is about, it links into boundaries. I've got another episode that talks about boundaries. Because one of the things that, like, I'm not a fan of staff building up till, unless, like, sometimes there's like genuine things. Like, we had somebody else in her team left and she worked part-time, so she was building up till so she could cover that person's role until we backfilled it. Stuff like that makes sense, but on a regular basis I'm not a fan of staff accruing till, because what I want to talk about first is, why are you not able to do your job within the prescribed hours? There's a problem. If you're having to do 10-hour days, there's a problem. Either you're not working efficiently, so you're like, there's improvements that the staff member or that I could make in that space, or your job is too big. Maybe you've been actually loaded up and actually we need another part-time staff member, and actually you're working at 200% and you're having to do these long days because the organisation has given you no choice because your job is so big, or you have no boundaries. or other people aren't respecting your boundaries. Does that make sense? So people are coming to you all the time to talk to you. That's an hour out of your day. They've now got a free counselling session or free therapy session. They've got to tell you how they're feeling or what they're struggling with or what they've done throughout their day. You actually haven't got anything from that conversation, anything except for losing an hour. So either you don't have boundaries to say, hey, I'm actually in the middle of something, can I come and find you afterwards? Or they're not respecting your boundaries if you are saying that.
That contributes to that burnout as well, you know, because you're now carrying that person's, whatever their issue is, you're carrying it with you. As much as you think you might not be thinking about it, it's there, it's occupying brain space. So something will remind you of it, something will happen and you'll see it. So it's things like that that can also, you know, contribute to that burnout. So you have to be very mindful of having that time that you can just do your job and not have to pick up other people's issues. But I guess one of my problems is that I read people well.
So you know when there's a problem. So I know
when there's a problem, and
same here.
That can contribute to it because I know there's a problem with that person. They haven't said anything, they haven't told me anything. I can just see it, I can feel it. And
also we're similar in the way that people, well, I think we are, correct me if I'm wrong, people come and offer up.
They tell you things.
They tell me things and they tell me like they just give me information, like whether I manage, like not even just where I work now, just in general and in life, be it friends, be it in a workplace, be it in my current workplace, old workplace, whatever. Like we call it like we've got an open face. So I feel like there's something that I do and you do the same thing that you give off. Talk to me. How can I help you, vibes? You've got how can I help you face.
And I guess, you know, it's good to have that because you can help somebody in need and what have you, and somebody who needs to offload as well. But just be mindful of it because that can contribute to you carrying extra information that will lead to your burnout.
There was a book about it where they liken it to like monkeys. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's like basically the moral of the story is somebody will come. So you're my manager. I will come and tell you this thing happened. So I put a monkey on your shoulder and then I go. And then the next person and then the next person. It doesn't even have to be people that report into you. It can just be anybody. Then all of a sudden you're leaving the office. You've got a monkey hanging from your earring, a monkey hanging from your chin, one in your ponytail, one on your back. And you wonder why you feel heavy and weighed down. And the people that have given you their monkeys skip off, leave work on time, and off they go. Don't give it a second thought. But you're just like so weighed down with everybody else's monkeys. So I'm very conscious of, is this person giving me their monkey? And am I going to accept it? And sometimes being in a leadership position,
you have to.
You accept that's part of the role. You accept their monkey and that's fine. But then there also has to be a clear line between I'm not a counsellor yet. And my role is a manager. So how else can I help you? Maybe you need to have additional clinical supervision sessions that will help you offload that. So it's also like asking the question, are they trying to give me their monkey? Is it appropriate for them to give me their monkey? And if not, I can pay a clinical supervisor for you to give your monkey to them. Because that's their job. So it's just being mindful, isn't it?
Burnout, as I said, it is definitely real, and we have to be mindful of that. And just make sure that we look after ourselves when we're in work.
Absolutely. Oh, thanks, babe. I love our conversations. They're literally the best thing in the world.
They're all right.
Again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and thank you guys for sticking with us. Like I said at the start, please like, comment, share and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Give us feedback, engage in the comments. Let's really create a community over here where we get to talk about what women do beyond the school gates and key topics that come up in regards to the workplace. See you next time.
Bye.